Welcome everybody to the Fuse Podcast, where we talk about everything and anything. And today we have something special just for you. Today we're talking about what do you look in a leader to follow. Stay tuned because what's coming up next is just too great to miss.
Become the best first. It's never easy, but it's not impossible. Talk about everything and anything. The Fuse. Welcome. You're listening to the Fuse Podcast. Enjoy.
3 things that I want to talk about a leader. Okay, so I wanted to make this really short and really down to the nitty-gritty of what is it that I do. What format do I follow? Because I'm a detailed person, I'm very organized, and I want everything to be done in a way that is structured, right? Because that's the way I understand things. If things are structured anywhere, I'm very clear to understand them because for me, they're clear to understand, right? If there's clutter and people work like that, that's great, but I don't. I work in a format place. So today I'm going to talk to you in a form of 3 listings. 3 listings that really, I think, hit the core about leaders. So here we go. Are you ready? Okay, so let me tell you the 3 things that we're going in deep with. Now, we're going to elaborate on each one of them. So bear with me because we're going to go in there and I'm just going to pour out my heart on the way I do it. And I'm going to talk about different topics and different things within there so that you can understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so we're going to give a brief history of my time of going through leaders, and then I'm going to go into the 3 things. So before, let me give you the 3 things that I'm going to talk about. So the 3 things that I look in for, or the 3 things that I look for in a leader when I'm choosing to follow is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right? Make sure you write that down. It's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, now let's move on to the history. So growing up, I grew up with the pastor dad, right? My dad was a pastor in many churches. He grew up, his story was just very crazy. Before he started getting into believing in God and giving his life to Jesus, he did this thing where he was, not doing the things that were right. He was a drunkard. He would do crazy things. He was like the macho in the Mexican towns that would just destroy the towns. And he was in other words, he was like the bully of the town. Does that make sense? So his father wasn't the best influencer for him. But when he came to meet God, it's a long story short. I'm going to make the long story short. His whole life and his whole perspective changed. His principles were on the Bible. So growing up, I was taught these principles of the Bible. So growing up, even though I was growing up in a Christian home, and my dad passed away at the age of 3, I did not have a father figure. So that was a big blowout for me, that I didn't have a father to be there to lead me or to guide me in any steps that I could, even though I had a mother who was beautiful and she led me through a lot of things. But it was hard to have that interaction with her, or that father interaction, because she was only giving me the mother and was trying to lead, being a mother of 9 and trying to lead each one of them as she was trying to support us at the same time. Excuse me. So growing up in this home of no father figure, for me it was hard to find even a father figure, or even to find somebody who leads me, because I only had brothers and sisters, and we would all just look to each other for help, but we never ever had this life of just having somebody there. So we ourselves started growing and reading the Bible and really into these areas of leadership since we were young. We started being leaders at the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because we had to. We were in a group. We had a band. We were playing since we were little. We had to develop our own band. We made calls. My brother, one of my brothers, whose name is AB, he was sort of like the director or the producer per se of the band. He would do the calls, he would do the meetings, he would do everybody. And literally, guys, I am not kidding, there would be pastors who would tell him, "Why are you calling? You should stop playing band. You're a little kid. You should just not do it." And, these are things that we saw as in Christians and people being in church. And I'm not beating down on churches, and I'm not, putting them down or anything, because every church has their own issues, right? And this is what I'm talking about, leadership. And the things that I saw were the lack of knowledge in areas that leaders did not know. So growing up in those things, I had to grow up being a leader myself. And it was really hard because I had to find out who I was. I had to create that. And it wasn't till, I want to say, after, I believe it was 2013 or 14. It was 2013 that I came to the realization and stumbled upon Dr. Miles Monroe. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Miles Monroe is, it is an exceptional speaker, but unfortunately, he has passed away with an unfortunate accident, a plane accident. But the point that I bring up Dr. Miles is because Dr. Miles pointed to me what I believed and I grew up with, but it was seen in a very different and similar, if that makes sense, an oxymoron, way of being a leader. So I believed in it, I could connect with it, and it was fabulous. So, with no further ado, because I don't want to bore you with the story, I just wanted to give you a little brief history of the way I grew up and the way that I started coming up to leaders and seeing leaders, because we would go into churches, we would go into places to play live. I mean, we would go into huge churches and we would go into small churches, and we would see everything on our own accord. Everything was done by ourselves. We didn't have any help from anyone. So, in going further, we didn't have that father figure or that leader figure to lead us. Again, I repeat, my mother was an amazing leader, and she taught me a lot of the things that I do now. But it was hard to find a father figure. It was just that father figure that we needed. So, furthering, going to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is the three things that I look for into a leader, so that no matter what, you can understand what a leader should have in their life as in a format. Now, I know you wanna think about, well, my leader needs to be consistent. My leader needs to be transparent, and I need to know what he's doing, and I need to believe in what he's believing. But this is the things that you need to know about a leader that makes it the basics and the foundation of choosing your leader. First of all, knowledge. When I look at a leader, I look at what he knows. I look at the knowledge that is growing within him. Now, there's this thing that I go by, okay? And they're principles, they're morals, and those are things that I stand by and I don't break. But let me tell you something. I'm not perfect, so I don't keep them. So I'm still pursuing that leadership position. And I think that leadership position should always be there. And of course, knowledge. This is what I think about knowledge. The information you're receiving to reach your overall purpose. What is that knowledge that that leader knows that he has a purpose for? Now, if your leader has knowledge of a purpose that he has in his life, that's a leader that you want to follow. A leader that knows his purpose, has a vision, has something that he is aiming for, is a leader that you want to follow. Why? Why do I say that? Why do I say about a knowledge, about a vision? Because a person without a vision is not going anywhere. They have no plans in life. They have no direction. They have no goal in their life just to go the same area. It's going to be a routine and a routine and a routine with no direction. So, knowledge of vision, of a purpose that the person has as a leader. Why? Because you know that they're not just standing doing nothing, but they're going somewhere. They're growing consistently. They're never ever stopping to learning. That's the knowledge. They're putting in them knowledge that will help them produce their purpose and help that purpose out so that they can grow, and through that purpose build other people up so that their purpose can build up as well. A leader's knowledge in his vision, a leader's knowledge in his purpose will always be the best thing that you can look for in a leader, because you want the leader to know his purpose and then turn around and want you to grow. Because when somebody knows their purpose, they're not selfish, right? Their purpose should always be around helping others. If the purpose of a leader is not to help people and just benefit themselves, then that's probably a leader you don't want to follow. Now, my second part is wisdom. Why wisdom? What is wisdom? I believe, in my own mind, this is the way that I put wisdom, is as what are you applying to your life as an example of law and principles that you're applying to. Now, you're saying, John, this doesn't make any sense. That has nothing to do with wisdom. But let me tell you why. When you have wisdom, you live by a certain standard of things, right? Because you have wisdom. For example, if you have a metal plate that is hot and your principles and your wisdom says, I do not touch hot stuff because I do not want to burn my skin off, then that knowledge and that understanding that you have in your head is going to keep you from doing that. Exactly. So this is what I'm talking about, wisdom. A leader, why do you look into a leader for wisdom to follow? This is why. Because you don't want the same thing that I just explained to you to happen to you, right? You don't want the leader to be a hot plate and then you touch it and you get burned. Why? Because it's against what you believe. It's against your principles. It's against your morals. It's against the laws that you keep for yourself. Now, remember, laws are different than rules. Rules can be broken. Laws cannot be broken. Does that make sense? Wisdom. What principles does your leader have? What laws does he live by that he does not break? Because if he knows he breaks them, he breaks his whole character, his whole reputation, and who he is as a person and as a leader. So guys, make sure that your leader is not a hot plate as a metaphor and you don't get burned. All right, now let's close it up with understanding. What's so important about understanding? Why should you have understanding in a leader? Well, it's a very simple thing. Let me give it to you in 3 little points. What is he doing, or what is he investing in that he will give you in return? Does that make sense? And in that, what is he applying to himself? What is he investing in himself that he is giving to you as a source? Not charging you for it, not billing you for it, but what is he giving in return to make you better? Because that's the point with many different businesses that I see today, many leaders, they want to just take from you. They just want to take from you what you have and the little that you have because you want to grow. And they don't want to give, thinking that if I just take, I'm going to have. But they don't know that when they're giving, they're actually sowing seed. They're actually sowing something in that person that will make them flourish and grow, and in return, prosper them. Does that make sense? This is why I'm telling you. So what is he, your leader, what is he investing in himself that he is giving to you as he produces his own fruits? What is he applying? How is he applying those investments? How is he applying that to his life? How is he using it? And how is he giving it to you in application, right? How is he teaching you how to apply it? Is he teaching you the right way to apply it? Is he teaching you the wrong way to apply it? Or he's not even teaching you how to apply it? So those are the things that you want to learn. And lastly is, what do you understand about his teaching? Okay, what do you understand about what he's teaching as a leader? That's one of the most things that is important. Okay, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I want to say the crucial foundation of following a leader. Join us next Tuesday for soccer. We'll be talking about soccer. How do you get fit in soccer, how do you train for 4 months to play a 45-minute halves or 25 4-minute halves? That means that you play one game of 2 halves of 25 minutes, and then you play a second game of two halves of 25 minutes. So, guys, I'm going to be talking about body shape, health shape, and strength shape. So those are going to be the 3 topics that I'm going to be talking about. So if you're interested, or if you know anybody that is playing soccer or is going to play soccer, I'm actually going to be training, because on December or January, we always have an alumni game, and I always start training to play that game and really beat the soccer team that is in the high school as alumni. So we start training, we start getting ourselves ready for it. So if you're interested, next Tuesday on the 12th, we'll be talking about soccer, how to get in shape for soccer. Guys, thank you so much. This is the Feud Podcast. Thank you for being here, and we'll be talking to you later.
Become the best person. It's never easy, but you're not impossible. Talk about everything and the views. Don't let fear take control of your life.